Okay, so as per our schedule today, we will see the transaction. So little information I would love to give about the transaction is that you guys are aware about the bank transaction as well. Whenever if you want to transfer suppose 10,000 rupees from your one bank account to another bank account, or you are transit or you want to transfer more than 10,000 or lesser than 10,000 via net banking. So in such scenario, what will happen that you perform all the things, enter the OTP and all the so many operations, or can say the process you do before you transfer or even while transferring. So anytime any of you has experienced such things that okay, you have entered amount 10,000, but only 2,000 has been transferred, or 5,000 has been transferred, or just 10 rupees has been transferred, but the rest of the amount is either revert back or it is stuck somewhere else, but partial amount has been transferred. So I don't think that anyone has experienced any of this. Does anyone? Is there any great bank like such exist? So yeah, so and you may have noticed as well that till the time you are transferring, you are suggested to not perform any other operations in between. Whenever the money is transferring, the notification came that okay, please do not refresh or do not go back or anything like such message are always occur, right? So this
Yes,
as
sir.
yeah, so this SQL transaction is a kind of I cannot say the kind of a similar, but yeah, you can refer this thing with the this transaction as well, because even the bank things, they are using this transaction as well. So transaction is like the similar thing, that it is a group of operations, or can say the sequence of operation that in a logical manner that it performs. Like from a bank, that you first log in, then you fill up a form with the amount, then after you confirm your identity and all the if the amount is so big, then you have to go for a PAN number verification and or other OTP or other verification. Then after what can say phone number OTP, and then after the transfer, and until you receive your receipt, you are actually can say the bound to that operations, that all the sequence of operation in the same order you have to perform. And all these things are actually monitored and managed by a transaction that we usually call a bank transaction. But in IT terms, or in a database term, we call it a SQL transaction, or if you are in a MySQL, then it would be a MySQL transaction. These transactions will make keep a record of all of your steps. Suppose you have completed a step 1 or step 2, or up to how long you have completed. So every bank has a different structure, and every SQL transaction has a different way of performing. Suppose some bank you found a problem in a OTP. Suppose you have entered a wrong OTP. So some of the net banking will ask you to start a process from a stage 1, or consider step 1. But maybe some other bank will ask you to just to go back on the previous page only and re-enter the OTP. So each of these things are been covered, or can say the saved by a transaction management, through the transaction management. So these are the overview of a transaction, that how it works. Now let's go on what can say the technical part, or can say this kind of a technical theories about the transaction. So as is the first line is written, the transaction is a set of one or more than one SQL operations which are guaranteed either to success or fail as a one unit. So suppose, as I mentioned initially, that if you are supposing to transfer 10,000 rupees, it will either transfer the complete amount or it will fail completely. No partial things, nothing is allowed. Okay, you are just allowed to go to the which steps you want to continue. That is a different case, and that is the only things allowed with the transaction. Okay, so transaction as like another thing is the same word, same definition in another word. Transaction are units or sequence of work to be accomplished in a logical order. Again, same thing. So now let's come on to the next. So each transaction begins with a specific task and ends when all the tasks in a group success complete fully. Again, the same thing. But yeah, in this is the line. If your transaction, SQL transaction goes successful or it becomes successful, then it will reply you, or can say the transaction status will return you as a success or a failure. There is no other status in the transaction thing. Again, I have used the banks example here. It's the same. Now, before coming to the advantages and disadvantages, I would like to show you the practical usage, or can say the syntax and everything of a transaction. So in this time, I will take a query window. And I will use the student table for an example. Yeah. So the architecture, or can say the minimum commands that you should use, you have to use is the begin transaction. Even begin tran is a fine. Begin tran can also work as a transaction, but I prefer to give a full name. Even you can give a name to your transaction as well. Suppose I am giving this as a my tran. Put as a semicolon. Now I cannot say the limitation, but the transaction must be used for the DML queries only, data manipulation queries only, like insert, update, delete. For the select queries, transaction is not required, or even I can say it is a bad practice if you are using a transaction management for the select queries, because the problem, or can say disadvantage of a transaction is that you have written this line, and if you are executing this query, your database will go on a lock. While this transaction has been released, your database is on a lock. You are not allowed to perform any other operation. So that's the reason it is a way bad practice if you guys are doing select query with the transaction. So whenever you are having a batch update, multiple insert, multiple updates, or multiple deletes, and you want to make sure that your each and every steps has been monitored, and if you get any error in between, so that you can maintain your data. So that usually what happened, you have written a insert query 1 and then insert 2. So I have mistakenly I have intentionally written this as a wrong thing. So this would be execute, but this will not execute. This will give you the error. So in this case, suppose when this query gets failed, you want that this query should also not be reflected into the database, because both of these are connected. or even if not connected, then also you want, you want an assurity that I wanted to two rows to be inserted or two data to be inserted, and I want full or nothing. So whenever you have this kind of requirement, it's a full or nothing, then you should go for a transaction. Or in other case, if you don't want a full or nothing, then you are sure that you want to be assured that okay, I want to go with the, this one. Okay, it's fine that okay, I'm fine with the one data to be updated. In that case, you can use a save point after this, so that your transaction should be save up to the here, and if there is any kind of a failure or something, then at least you can recover your data, or you can say you can go back to your query at least up to this point, and then after you resolve your SQL query, and then come back and then proceed ahead by executing it again. So these are some of the benefits and some of the advantages of transaction. So yeah, let me complete the syntax first. So begin transaction. Then if everything goes fine, you commit the changes, or can say commit transaction. If any error occur or if anything is there, it is your responsibility to write down this one, rollback transaction. Rollback will can say roll back everything. If you have a save point, then it will go back to the save point. Otherwise, it will roll back each and everything. Otherwise, it will roll back up to the save point. Okay. So let me write better syntax, as I mentioned here as well, like you can see. And because in this lecture only we will see the big try catch block. So I hope you guys are aware about the try catch block. It is used to try catch block is always there, even in the C# coding or JavaScript or any language or anything you will learn in the future, even the Python or anything. Try catch block is always be there for error handling, or can say exception handling, or can say error catching. So similarly, even the try catch blocks are used in the SQL part for the same reasons, that if any error occurs, you guys can catch it and solve it, or even log it into the database precisely. So it is always recommend that whenever you are writing transaction management codes, better you write it with the try catch. Otherwise, it may cause some issues, or can say it will be difficult to handle the errors. Okay, so these are the statement. Now let me see the insert queries of yesterday. I have given one task in the store procedure, that insert 3 queries. So let me start with that only. Insert into students. Okay, let me first show you the good part about the thing, how it can make a lock and all. So I want to insert this record into the my student table. Well, this is good. Yeah, my students are international cricket players. That is good. Sachin, Sehwag, Kohli. Yeah, this is a great. But let's back to the reality that I'm not their teacher, or never they have taken a lecture from me. So, anyways, so I wanted to insert this record. So, but I want to do this with the transaction thing. Okay, I have to write this as well. So, let's execute this code. So, ideally, the record should be entered into the database, right? So, let's see what will happen. Okay, one row is affected even. Wow. It put a lock. Yeah. See? Because I have not committed or roll back my transaction, it put a lock. Now I am not allowed to do anything until I release it. Let me see if I can. I'm allowed to perform this or not. Okay, it is added. Great. So, but the database has been locked. So, if I do this, the changes will occur in the database. So, but I want to roll it back. Okay. Now I want to, and then I want to see that what is the new data. See, the whatever the record I have entered into the database of Ben Stokes is not appear, or can say it's gone from the database. See, it's not added. It entered here, but because I have not committed my, or can say not make a change. I mean, commit is necessary if you want database to be changed, permanently changed. So it is required. So let's see now the same thing. This time I will commit. See, it's added. Even in the database, it's actually appeared. So as I told you, right, that in transaction it is either full or nothing. There should be no partial operations. So until I have committed, it will give you that data has been entered, or I can say it is supposed to be entered, or part of your database, or part of your table. But in reality, the database gets locked. Actually, none of the no operations are performing, but it is just updating for a future references. Whenever you are making a bank transaction and you are getting a receipt, and even from your bank statements, it is updated that okay, this amount has been deducted, but it will take 30 minutes or sometimes 24 hours to appear into your another bank account, or other person to receive, because the transaction has to be completed, or it has to be commit. Once it is commit, then it's fine. Then it will appear in the another person's bank account as well, or on your other bank account as well. And then after you will able to receive that money. So anything in the transaction, any question on the transaction part? because now we will see the what is the ideal way of using the transaction. So first I would love to take a question. Is there any question on the transaction?
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Once we commit, it can't be rolled back, right?
No, after committed you cannot roll back. Either you commit
Oh,
or roll back.
yes.
Once you committed, then you have an app. You only have an option to delete the delete query and all. After that you cannot roll back. But the thing is, if you are using a multiple transaction, suppose you are having transaction mytran, also you are having one more transaction, multiple transaction can also be there. So in that case you can roll back up to the one transaction, and then you know you can do like this, but whatever is committed, it cannot be rolled back. Suppose you have committed a mytran, you can commit the one mytran, but you want to roll back mytran 1, so you can do this, but you cannot roll back the mytran. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So let me come to the yesterday's task, that I really want to go on a natural way of doing a rollback or a transaction things and all. So let me write one more query. The insert. Okay, it's already written. Any other question? So tell me, who is your favorite celebrity that you want to make my student? Whom you want to make my student? Give me a good name.
Tom Cruise.
Sorry?
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise. Wow. Yeah, on the weekend only I had seen that movie Night and Day. Tom Cruise. Okay, let's put New York as of now. Any other celebrity? Even from your favorite hero, heroine is fine. Elon Musk, wow. Let's put a Washington. Okay. So I believe, okay, let's take one more. The last one. Who would like to put a junior NTR or Rajnikant or what can say Shah Rukh, Salman, Amir, anyone? Prabhas, oh, Bahubali. Wow. So great suggestions. So now I would love to make an error. Okay. So what do you guys think? How many will be part of my student database? All three will be updated into the database. Let's see then.
Sir, what is select 1 by 0?
Select 1 by 0. Actually, I am actually able. Select 1 by 0 is an error statement. Divide by 0.
Oh, okay.
This is an error. This is this is nothing else.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
So I want to make sure. Okay, let me execute it and then you will find out. Okay. So let me come to this part.
I think it will give an error and
Mhm.
So I think no record will be updated.
Yes, you are correct. And this time it will automatically roll back as well because everything is inside the try block, and I will get error here only. So it will not go for a commit one.
Given exception, right?
Yes, it will give exception, but we are not catching the exception here. So let's execute. Let's see what will happen. Error should be here. Okay, no error. No error message. Okay. So you guys have seen it's automatically roll back. I didn't have to write anything. And no record has been updated. But I want to see, I want to experiment here that okay, let's keep the purpose side. Let's work with the USA guys. So now what do you think? What are the chances? The two records will update or not? Will the two records be part of a database and or not?
I think no.
You can know.
Try
Let's
block
see.
is being given, right?
Sorry?
Like, oh, like try block will be excluded, right? Because we're putting an exception there.
Yeah.
So directly rollback will happen. Like,
Okay, let's see now. So message. One row affected. Tom Cruise was inserted. Again, Elon Musk was inserted. But here we get error, and then after from here it will go on a catch block. So what would be the final result? Again, nothing has been updated. So no matter what you had, all the things right or one thing right or two statements correct, but if you have any one error statement or one problematic error or anything like that, even if the syntax error or anything, you will get surety that either you will get full or nothing. Even if I put a save point as well, then it is not that you will your database will be updated. It will come back to here. Suppose I write, I have to see the save point syntax. Actually, I have forget it. I think it's this one. Yeah. So save point, then after save point name, and then you have to roll back to save point. So it will start from there. Again, are not allowed to, it will not update the database. So even if I write a save point, let's see. Save point Elon. Let's see that. What is happening? There is some errors and incorrect syntax. Then what would be the right syntax? The syntax is also correct. Anyways, I'll see this. But the thing is same that if you come back, if you have a save point as well, then also you can roll back up to that save point if you wish. Otherwise, you can roll back completely. So we are using a complete rollback, not coming back to any of the stage. So yeah, so this is the thing in the transaction and even with the try catch. Now let's complete the theories. All the theories what I had written, or can say what it says. So as I said, that what would be the ideal, or can say the must be scenarios of using a SQL transaction in a batch processing when multiple rows inserted, updated, or delete as a single unit. I shown.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, sorry. Ask.
Uh, Sir, save point can be used as a save transaction in SQL Server.
Not you. I mean, not like that. Suppose save point is that uh,
Save
you
point, what you have used is in MySQL server, SQL, I guess.
okay.
So I have searched about SQL Server save point and it shows save transaction.
Save transaction up to a certain point. Suppose if any kind of a rollback occur, so from where you want to begin again. As I written that save point elon. So
Yes, sir.
in that case, I don't want to start from a beginning from from this statement. Instead, I would
Yes.
love to start from the statement number two that is inside of Elon Musk. So save point is like that. Okay, start from here and record from again. Don't start from the beginning because until the transaction has been complete, your database into the lock. So if you are searching for an error or something like that, so better you release the database at least partially. So
What I'm telling is,
yeah,
I think your syntax is wrong. Like
yeah,
save point shows an error, right?
yeah, it might be a syntax error.
I think save point should be replaced by save transaction, I guess.
That I will see because right now I believe that even in the industry practice, what would happen that save point and all those things are not there. We usually introduce multiple transactions in the industry practice. I'm saying because save point or anything, it is always recommended to write a multiple transactions instead of save point and all. So I mean save point and all I have written just to show you that what is the use of it. If you really want me to show and all, then I can do a research right now as well, and we can go ahead with this by solving the syntax error and all. But
No, sir.
huh,
You can continue.
yeah, but I believe it is better to continue on the concept.
Yes, sir.
However, you do not have any exercise today with the save point and anything. And
No,
I'm very assured, even if you go on a live project, you will not see save point things. You will see the multiple transactions, but I don't think a save point and all. So yeah, so where so maybe I was here. Yeah, so we were seeing the theories. So whenever you have multiple insert update, better to make it with the transaction management, and don't never ever forget to commit and roll back if there is any error, and always recommended to work with the try catch block whenever you are going with the what can say transaction. Even if you are writing a store procedure other than the select query, it is again recommended to go with the try catch block. Even if you are not having what can say multiple inserts or transaction or anything, even the store procedure is also recommended to go with the try catch. But even in the industry, few DBA or few developers practice, few are not. But with the transaction, they always write or always do with the try catch, because it is so difficult to roll back manually. So yeah, but yeah, there is also one way. If you are not willing to use a try catch block, then also there is one way that I can show you. So yeah, that is in this case commit, in this case rollback, otherwise commit. So we always write this first if you don't want to use a try catch block, then this would be the ideal scenario. Catch out, try and count if there is any. If there is any error or any transaction error occurs, in that case you go with this one and then immediately roll back. Otherwise, make a commit. So this would be the can say industry practice, but this again I will not recommend to go with the without try catch. Always go with the try catch block. That would be better. So yeah. Now what would be the next scenario when you should use transaction? Whenever a change to one table requires that other tables to be kept consistent, or even the other table to be updated. Either not consistent, then you want to update your salesman and orders as well simultaneously. Suppose I want to update here a salesman table as well in the same one unit or in one shot. Then also it is highly recommended to go with the transaction. Or if you don't want any other thing to be affected, then is also fine. In a real life scenarios, you may have heard that this website has been crashed, that website has been crashed out due to the traffic and due to the placing of order. It happens because of the transaction, and it happens actually because of the transaction management only, because transaction will put the database into the lock, and it is very difficult to manage in if the high number of people are visiting the website at the same time and try to place the order. In that case, the companies need a higher bandwidth and all so many things to release the transaction logs early. And in that case, whether you go with the Amazon or Flipkart, they have a way good transaction management system. Very good one. So now what would be the third scenario? When modifying data into or more database concurrently. Yeah. So actually your Amazon or can say the Flipkart, any e-commerce site that you guys are using, they are actually using a different databases. To showing you the records and showing you the products is a different database. Their transaction is not required. But once you cross the cart system, cart thing and all, you are actually redirecting to the new database, and from there onwards your transaction and all things come on a picture. And the last one, in a distributed transaction where data is manipulated on a various server. Actually these both are same, either you go on a different databases or different servers, both are the same. Suppose you are placing an order in Indian Amazon, but the product is not available, and they may ask you that okay, you would like to go for international shopping. In that case it can change the server. But with Alibaba, this option you found. I don't know about the Amazon, but Alibaba would definitely ask you. So yeah, these are the things. Again, you can use it. You should use it for DML queries only, and but not when you are creating a table or dropping or anything like such. Transaction and all are not required. The disadvantage, I told so many times, that it put locks on your database or on your data even. We have seen in the first thing that until I make a commit, the Ben Stokes was updated into the select queries, but not really updated into the database. So it is like that. No other operations can take place on locked data until the lock is released. I shown you practically as well. I hope you guys remembered and aware. So yeah, this is what I was telling. It is very important to keep your transaction period shorter. Don't put bigger locks or anything Such things can degrade your website or software performance drastically. So yeah, that's it in the transaction. Now it will be a time for exercises. So any question on a transaction? Okay. So I consider the silence as no question. And now let me first